LeighTDickey.com. What's going on, everybody? Leigh Dickey here. Welcome to another episode of Pinfall, a pro wrestling podcast where we cover everything from match watch-alongs and reviews, along with segments and memories, all surrounding this wonderful world of professional wrestling. Today, I want to continue with the match watch-along and or segment review type stuff. And today, we are going to look at Billy Kidman versus Gregory Hurricane Helms, whatever you want to call him. He's known as Gregory Helms here because you can't have two Shanes in the WWE. This is shortly after the WWE buyout of WCW, where they were thinking of doing or having WCW as its own separate entity, its own separate brand, where they were having WCW matches on Raw and Smackdown. This is the week of July 2001, the beginning of July 2001, and the Smackdown that aired that week. So this is July 5th, 2001, where Billy Kidman takes on Gregory Hurricane Shane Helms for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship to see if WCW can basically stand on its own as its own separate brand. Now, there's another matchup that is WCW-centric in this same broadcast. I will get into that in another episode. But for this one, it's Billy Kidman versus Gregory Shane Hurricane Helms for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship from the July 5th, 2001 edition of SmackDown. And you have Arn Anderson and Scott Hudson on commentary. And I think Howard Finkel was the ring announcer. They didn't have Stacy Keibler this time. Maybe they were just short-staffed or in a pinch and they just needed to find somebody, so they got to Fink. But let's get right into this episode of Pinfall, a pro wrestling podcast, where I look at Billy Kidman versus Gregory Shane Hurricane Helms for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship from the July 5th, 2001 edition of SmackDown. Here we go. Well, let's start this off. Billy Kidman comes down the aisle, and to be quite honest, I preferred his WCW theme. I actually really liked him in WCW and in WWE. Now, Scott Hudson here on play-by-play along with Arn Anderson. And like I said in the first episode, I really did like Scott Hudson on commentary in WCW. And yes, we do have Howard Finkel as the ring announcer here for this WCW-centric Cruiserweight Championship match between Billy Kidman and Gregory Helms. Cut to a shot. Here we have Arn Anderson and Scott Hudson at the announcer's booth. And to be quite honest, I've said this several times within these first couple episodes already. I really wanted WCW to work as its own separate brand, but it just seems that people weren't into it because they were conditioned to believe that WCW sucked. It wasn't up to par. It wasn't the number two. It wasn't on equal footing as WWF, WWE at the time. Here we see Gregory Helms, as he's known here, with the Cruiserweight title. He still has many mannerisms akin to his Sugar Shane gimmick in WCW. Now, Billy Kidman awaiting the start of the match. Charles Robinson is your referee. We have the WCW aprons out. Scott Hudson, Arn Anderson at the announcer's desk, at the announcer's booth. Billy Kidman starts out with a side headlock. Elbows by Helms. Quick roll-up. One. No. Oh, looked like a botch there, whereas Charles Robinson nearly slid in, or he did slide in to Billy Kidman. A slap here from Helms to Kidman to fire him up. Irish whip out of the corner. Kidman goes for, I guess, a splash. Shoulder to the gut. Oh, Kidman comes in with a springboard, sort of Hurricane Rana type move. Drop kick, Helms to the outside. And to be quite honest, hey, here we go. Springboard crossbody over the top rope. I wanted WCW to work. But I'm glad that both these guys in later years post that invasion angle, they both got opportunities with the WWE, and it's super cool to see these guys. Oh my god, that looked like a super botch, or at least Helms might have been too long, or Kidman came up short there with a crossbody. And this is back in the day where SmackDown was on UPN, and back when UPN actually existed. Whoop, there we go. Oh, wow. Gregory Helms with a hip toss on Billy Kidman. He flies over the top rope, or he goes over the top rope, holds his knee. Helms and Kidman both on the outside now. But it was cool to see both these guys get opportunities and I get sort of like flourish in the WWF, WWE in later years. It's actually really cool to see. I've always been a big fan of both these guys. Kidman, back when he was in WCW, he's one who I really gravitated towards. I saw Helms in the later years of WCW. Quick cover here. Kick out by Kidman after a 2 count. Helms I saw in later years when he was part of 3 count. And to be quite honest, I was like, But when he got to be the Hurricane, that was super cool. Another cover here by Helms on Kidman. Quick 2 count. Kick out. And I really wanted WCW to work, man. I'm not going to lie. I really did. It's too bad that it didn't. Helms going for the vertebraker here. Nope. Kidman reverses it. Here we are with a bulldog out of the corner. Wow. Springboard bulldog. Is that what they call that these days? I can't. Some of the names of the moves I can't remember, and I can't even say that I know all of them. You're not going to know everything when it comes to wrestling or anything in life. But here we go. Oh, sit out powerbomb. Almost like a lowdown type thing, or like the derailer. As I'm not Michael Cole, so I'm not going to overemphasize it, but it was kind of like a derailer there from Kidman to Helms. Super kick cover here by Helms on Kidman. 2 kick out by Kidman. And 2001 seemed like a weird year for the WWF. I mean, not only did they buy out WCW, they did that whole thing with the XFL. Falcon Arrow here by Kidman on Helms. Reminds me a bit of Bob Holly, not going to lie. And he's going here for the Shooting Star Press. So, let's see what happens here. I hope he hits it. Here we go. I haven't watched this match in years. And he misses. He eats the canvas. But, well, Shane Helms with the final cut. I'm not sure what he called that in WCW, but I know the Big Show used it as his finisher. Sort of a elbow to the chest and driving him into the canvas. Kick out by Kidman. Helms goes for the vertebraker. Got him up. Kidman lands on his feet. And this is, I don't know whether you want to call it the Kid Crusher. Whereas, like, when WCW, he had 1, 2, 3, pinfall. Kidman wins Cruiserweight Championship here on Gregory Shane Hurricane Helms. But just to finish off here with the match commentary, as Kidman celebrates, I guess you want to call it the Kid Crusher, but when he was in WCW, it was sort of like an elevated and a jumping unprettier, like Christian's old finishing move. Here, it was like a reverse pedigree. Basically, he had him on either side, hooked both his arms, his neck, head, and face were sort of between his legs, and he just drove him into the mat. So it was kind of like a reverse pedigree. But still, it's cool to see Kidman get a win here. Good short match with both these guys when it came to the WCW-centric matches. These guys were always great in the ring, whether together or as opponents. And I'm just sad to see that, WCW didn't work. Although, like I said earlier, it was cool that both of these guys got opportunities in WWE and made the most of them. I know Kidman's still there as a producer. Helms is there as a producer now. And it's just cool to see this, cool to watch it. I preferred Kidman's WCW theme. I thought they both did great work. But Kidman wins the Cruiserweight Championship here. And this has been another episode of Pinfall, a pro wrestling podcast from the mind of a fan, sharing stories, memories, watching matches, segments, giving you reviews, and watch-alongs. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Find Pinfall, a pro wrestling podcast, on your app of choice, on your player of choice, on my official website, LeighTDickey.com. You can find Pinfall, a pro wrestling podcast, anywhere and everywhere you go. But that's it for me. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you all and talk to you all later. Leigh Dickey signing off. Peace. LeighTDickey.com